TL Talks are back. Join the conversation, cultivating the affluent U.S. consumer and the opportunities ahead.
Our TL Talks during the pandemic reached an audience of 80,000, motivating professionals to innovate, to rethink, and to keep moving forward.
Learning to listen, to connect, some sort of spiritual connection. It's a big circle, of trust and of loyalty. Relationships in this business really are the most important thing.
I listen to my gut feeling all the time. Local people make a huge ingredient in all we do.
That time is our most precious commodity. How do we elevate the discussion to opportunities like this?
The willingness to disconnect, maybe take a bit of a risk, to learn and have that education from such a knowledgeable guide.
Not the ABC, it's where are you going to create that emotional connection.
Don't miss it.
Welcome back for another episode of our TL Talks, your source of the latest insights in luxury travel. My name is Tina Lira. I am the principal at TL Portfolio, a consulting firm with 12 offices and a team of 25 powerful women and one man throughout North America, showcasing hotels and destinations around the world. We offer sales and marketing representation, public relations, branding, digital content, and event management. Our TL Talks during the pandemic reached an audience of 80,000, motivating professionals to innovate, rethink, and keep moving forward. With the support of many of the most powerful minds in luxury travel, we created a movement of positivity and hope. Thank you to all that participated and joined the conversation virtually. Your tremendous support made my pandemic days a little lighter, and I couldn't be more grateful for the amazing energy that we shared. Today we're back at the Maybourne Beverly Hills, a stunning hotel represented by my dear friend Joanne Kurtzales, with 4 industry leaders to better understand the affluent traveler and discuss the opportunities ahead. I am honored to have my dear friends who are respected throughout our industry and some of the region's top producers and favorite destination specialists. Diane Shear, founder of Beyond Travel, an affiliate of Cadence Travel. Diane launched her travel business in April 2016 and currently has a team of 10 professional travel consultants, which we love dearly. Hi, ladies. They are all specialists in high-end luxury travel around the world. Diane was a divorce attorney, and before ultimately finding her true passion in the world of travel. Her enthusiasm for design, art, food, fashion, and architecture offers a unique touch as she crafts world-class voyages for celebrities, CEOs, and well-known creators of content for TV and film. Diane is based in Los Angeles and lives with her screenwriter husband, David Weissman, and her 2 teenage boys and a dog. Diane, before I introduce our other panelists, can you share with us a little bit about the transition from law and television writing to travel? What was your greatest lesson?
Learning to listen. And I think that as a divorce lawyer, obviously I had to pay attention to my clients, to listen to them, to understand what they were saying, even if they couldn't get the words out right, to kind of know where they were coming from. And I feel like, and in TV writing too, to add that to my characters that I was writing. So when I got into travel, I realized that listening and hearing people and paying attention are really the most important things. And I think what sets me apart and creates my relationships with my clients and makes them better, because I hear them and I listen and I know kind of what they're saying, sometimes even without them actually having to say it.
I can see that. And the creativity of writing might help tremendously also.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. Alan Mandic, founder and managing director of Secret Dalmatia. Alec is personally dedicated to the vision of bringing the hidden gem and beauty of Croatia to every client. Alan has a deep connection with his country, so after finishing university education at New England School of Art and Design in Boston, he returned to Croatia and founded Secret Dalmatia in 2005. Today, Secret Dalmatia is known and respected as a leading luxury destination specialist in the region. Even if you ask, and especially if you ask our dear friend Martin Rapp, which I call him the most loved man in travel, to tell you about his favorite DMC, you will hear the amazing stories of what Alan and his team have put together during the many years that they have worked together. Alan, your passion and expert knowledge on Croatia were not the only driving forces behind the decision to launch Secret Dalmatia. I believe you have a story of an epiphany that you lived. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Well, when I came back from the States in 1998, tourism was still developing after the war, and I was just seeing the return of big masses to Croatia and really not a sophisticated product. And it was bothering me for a couple of years. And I was thinking, you know, we can do better. We have wonderful nature, we have great sites, we have unique history, and then great food. And it was brewing in me for like a couple of years. And then one summer evening, I'm always in the hillside, and I saw and I found behind one church 2 Roman sarcophagi being pretty much left alone. And it was dusk, it was so eerie, atmospheric, and I said, I gotta show this to people. And then I, started putting together an agency, and it just, came out of me just like that. It was very organic, I'd say. And that's what I like about the entire product with Secret Dalmatia. It just keeps growing organic to the people that come into us and the requests that we're getting and the people that I hire. It's always, I need this, I listen to my gut feeling all the time. Of course, there's a business aspect to it, but it's always, just giving this passion and
show
love.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I have to show people. I like that.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Simple. Jesse Katz, founder of JK Travel, an affiliate of Pro Travel International. Jesse is a luxury travel advisor whose relationship with hoteliers and destination specialists around the world allows him to craft unparalleled luxury travel experiences. Jesse believes that personalization is an integral component of planning and execution of luxury travel experiences. Jesse was nominated as a Virtuoso Rising Star. He is a Pro Travel peak performer and a top producer for the Pro Travel Beverly Hills office. Go, Jesse. Jesse, you work with discerning travelers who rely on you not only to craft, but also guide them through a journey that will awaken their senses and create long-lasting memories. Have you noticed a change in your clients' travel since the pandemic?
Well, I think the most important thing I would say is that what this pandemic has taught us all, and I think particularly our clients who maybe have always been on the go, is this forced reset. And I think for them, and this appreciation that time is our most precious commodity. And I think very much now there's way more planning in saying, we're going to be taking this time with our family, with our loved ones. How could we make this experience truly special, truly unique? And I think to Diane's point, I think, one of the reasons why we're such good friends is we share a philosophy in the way in which we plan travel for our clients. And I think it's very much moving beyond how do we take something that in my eyes has become a commodity, even in the luxury space, and really say, here are one-off experiences that due to our relationships with the partners seated here and around the world, our clients come back and say, wow, we would have never seen this if we didn't use you.
Wow. I mean, we need to talk about it. But that's exactly it, right? It's customizing, and it's making sure that one trip doesn't look like the other because every person is unique, right? No, it's fabulous.
And to Diane's point, listening.
Yeah, it's listening. Yeah, that's an important ingredient. Michael Castleman, General Manager of Exclusive Travel Group. Michael believes that showcasing his home, Australia, along with New Zealand, South Pacific, and Papua New Guinea is the best job in the world. Born and raised in Sydney, Michael is a former globetrotter hotelier and international businessman whose passion about working with leading advisors to design new experiences around the world for celebrities and ultra-high-end travelers is your driving force. He shares his passion for travel with a keen interest in music, motorcycles, and traveling the globe.
Don't bring motorcycles up.
Yeah, no, we totally deviate, yeah. Michael, can you tell us about what changes have you seen in your region as it pertains to the affluent traveler, and what trends are you seeing?
Well, I think all of us on this couch can agree that our clients own homes and dwellings which are equal to, if not nicer than, much of the nicest hotels and lodges that we have across our destinations. So they're not coming to Australia or New Zealand to see the bed. They're coming to see the experience. And what we're seeing is an increase in immersion, the willingness to disconnect, maybe take a bit of a risk. And for us, immersion can be delivered through so many ways because we have so much product, whether it's wildlife, the people, and the most important thing. Education comes into it as well as part of the immersion. So for us, when you look at the feedback of a luxury traveller or an affluent traveller, education transcends the wealth because the simplest things that they say to us on their feedback are what are the highlights. It could be a hug from a kangaroo. It could be a conversation with one of our guides about a conservation product that they didn't know about. It's touched them and then they've donated after the journey. Often those are the most powerful things for us when it comes to an affluent traveller.
Yeah, it's all about emotion. Diane, can you touch upon that? What have you seen changing in your clients?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just had a client reach out last week and say, we want something different. A lot of my clients want things different. I'm sure all of ours do. Something that their friends haven't done. They either want to do what their friends have done or they want to do what their friends have not done.
Yeah.
So this particular client reached out and was like, we're open to anything. My son wants to go to Asia. Where should we go? And we just want a new off the beaten path kind of experience. And it turns out, you know, in a week, we planned a fabulous trip. They're leaving in May to Sri Lanka. And that's a destination that, you know, is not as well known as many others. But I think people are really looking for something different, some way to connect, some sort of spiritual connection to a place that they haven't been, that their friends haven't been, that takes them to a completely different place. And I love that. So getting requests like that is, you know, is a big part of what I love about this business, and just kind of saying, you know, matching them with something great.
Yeah.
Diane, do you get a lot of disconnection? I get people saying, I want to get rid of the noise in my head.
Oh,
we want to, like I haven't spoken to my son properly for 2 months. We want to do something together and reconnect.
Well, yes, not with those exact words,
Yes,
but
similar,
I can tell what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to get away with their family. They don't want
Put
to
the phone
be
down.
connected. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we all
That's
do.
what we're seeing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful that the biggest difference when we look at what's happening, it's really the fact that you guys are there to not only curate the trip, but to really be the advisor. They don't come and say, I want to go here. It's
Diane, where do I go? Right?
Right.
Take me on a voyage. Create something. Tell
There's
me what I
nothing
need
better
to
than
see.
that. Yes.
Right? That's a
Yeah.
massive trust.
It is. It is.
Which is
Yes.
amazing.
We
Well,
have
I
a lot
think-
of responsibility.
And I think to jump in as well, to maybe steal words out of the Four Seasons playbook, but there's a core principle they have that's called, you know, what they refer to as show me, you know me. And I think for so many of us, sometimes I probably drive some of the DMCs in here a little bit crazy when I get this itinerary
you drive
back.
sorry, I thought I heard something there. Go ahead.
when you get an itinerary back, and I've spent all the time briefing you on what these clients are looking for, how can we really insert these aha moments, and I get something that frankly to me is like, all right, in 30 seconds of Googling, it's the
You
one-off
can-
tour, it's
standard.
the walking tour, it's standard.
Yeah.
That doesn't excite me. And so I think my major push is, you know, clients come to me, clients come to Diane because they're really looking for experiences they couldn't craft themselves. And when we then look to our trusted DMC partners, the conversation I'm having is like, okay, we know what everyone else is doing. How could you make us all shine?
Yeah.
But if I may touch on that, is we keep getting requests like that. And for example, we just recently had a request for a client from US, and she wanted like a unique cruise in Croatia, and I suggested a route. And then I had with the agent, we had a Zoom, and I was telling her, listen, she was telling me, I really want to get away from the crowds and everything, but you know, I really lost him in the ocean. I said, listen, I'm going to give you my favorite spots. I'm going to give you my favorite restaurant. You know, it's off the beaten path. It's something quite unique. She was so thrilled. Next morning, she comes back. Oh, my friend told me that I should go to Dubrovnik. It's upsetting. I'm giving you a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Gotta love the friends.
Yeah, there's nothing worse.
Yeah, exactly.
My friend told me.
Yeah, but it is,
Then why ask me?
and it is the trust, right? I think there was a very interesting article on Travel Market Report that talks about the importance of emotional connection, right? And Misty Bales, VP of Global Public Relations at Virtuoso, I think she had a really interesting point. She says that our people are making travel decisions based on how they want to feel at the outcome. Whether it's relaxed, connected to their loved ones, excited to discover new cultures and destinations, or just feeling fulfilled by helping others. And I think what she's getting at is really the need and the desire of making emotions and driving emotions that become the centerpiece of the itinerary, right? It's all that feeling versus the tangible aspects, which allow you to be able to then create lasting memories and connections and make all that difference. And I think, Alan, when we talked about earlier of the importance of this ingredient called emotion, right? Yeah. How do you put that in? Because I think that's what Jesse's looking for. And I know Diane, it's like, it's not the ABC, it's where are you going to create that emotional connection? And that emotional connection, that is what that particular traveler is looking for, right?
For us, it's been always about locals. Local people make a huge ingredient in all we do. And I've been lucky enough that my network of people and friends is just so diverse and great, from winemakers to restaurant owners to guides and everything. And we're really careful who we put together with your client. One of the things is, for example, with the honeymooners, we don't put them with the most beautiful guide, because they've been a complaint.
No distractions.
Yeah, but you have to think about those things. And, we have chefs that some people just want to, cook with someone, and some people just want to go deep into this. And then, we have really entertaining people. So we always pay attention to that. But it is about emotions at the end. And we always keep getting, feedback on the guides. The best example is, for example, our Mario Bartulovic, winemaker on Pelješac Peninsula, close to Dubrovnik, who works exclusively with us. And he had a small story. He told me he had a very affluent American couple, super wealthy. They're coming on a private tour with us. They go to his cellar, and then they go to the vineyard. His cellar is 500 years old. So, they have the story and everything. They go to the vineyard, and there's a beautiful slope, goes down to the ocean, shimmering seas, everything. And he starts, telling them about this. And the lady goes, "Oh, would you consider selling this?" He was so upset. He didn't show. He just goes there and tells her, listen, in 1903, my great-grandfather would take a mattock on his shoulder, walk from my village, that's a 45-minute walk, come here and start pulling the vines. Because they all died during the disease, in 1903. But before that, he would look for a small, flat piece of rock and put it in his pants and tie it with a rope. Why would he do that? He said, because he was starving. His stomach was growling, and this is the only way to stop from hearing that stomach, that sound. And she started immediately tears and said, listen, I'm so disrespectful. I'm so sorry. I see this is more than just a vineyard. It's not a commodity. It's life. Yeah. And that's when they came back and just said, this is the most authentic wine tour ever. This is no Napa. This is no France. You don't meet a winemaker. This is just a special guy there on the ground with dirt under his fingers.
Yes. And I think it's so important for us, for our relationship with the DMCs, to trust you to give a guide that matches our clients' needs. And it's important for us, it's just why we travel a lot and we go and we experience things, to say, hey, I did this amazing, I have this great chef on a boat in Greece, and she's this unbelievable woman, and we learned all about, cooking and, drinking, and not that we needed to learn much about that, but, and, the culture there. And it was just so important. And I have sold that experience so many times with this woman. And it's just that woman. It's
people, it's connections,
and
it's energy.
Amazing.
Yeah, totally. And Jesse, there's a lot of talk and emotion behind giving back, right? I personally, every trip I take where I have the opportunity to directly contribute to improving somebody's lives, honestly, those are the trips that are life-changing for me, right? That you come back and it really has a very big impact. How much is that present in your clients' trips? And is it currently something that they're asking for? Is it something that you're adding to the trip? How is that working?
I think people are looking for connection, and I think the point that Alan just made about authenticity is something that really strikes with me or resonates, because I would say when I think about giving back, I would say it's something that's critically important, something I try and insert into almost all the itineraries, but it has to be done right. And I think of experiences where when I was traveling in Morocco and it was, here's an opportunity to go to a local Berber village and interact, and everything felt right. And then I remember looking up at one point and the person who had greeted me and was wearing all of the clothing and everything felt very real, was out taking a smoking break in a t-shirt and shorts, sees me and then runs and puts his shirt back on. And so to me, it's like, it's when it's done right. And I think to Alan's point, to Diane's point, it's finding the people for whom this isn't just the business of, okay, they have 10 clients coming today, it's the same speech about how tourism impacts them, but it's those people that are doing it because they love it. I think that story of the winemaker rings true of they don't have to be showing this to our clients. They do it because it exposes a sector that they normally wouldn't have any engagement with. And to your point, Croatia, most people probably aren't thinking, here's where I'm going to visit a winery. But when you do it, when you hear the story, I think that's when it becomes very important. So in short, I would say it's something that our clients are absolutely looking for. It has to be done right, and I would never force it. And I think that's when we have the conversation with the partners of saying, okay, is there a particular cause that these clients are looking for? And can we then match it? And if not, there's no reason to force it. Because I think when it's not done right, I'll get the phone call saying like, you know what, this felt like Disneyland to me.
Yeah,
and I've probably gotten that call more often than I had a life-changing experience. So you definitely have to be careful.
Yeah.
And you have to know your clients. I had a similar experience where they had a great time, but it was not what it felt awkward. It wasn't what they were looking for. And I heard them and, they still had a good time, but it wasn't done quite in the right way.
Sure. No, it's super important to match.
Yeah.
And matching exactly what their profile, what their passions on. Michael, when it comes to art and music, they're usually, often, not usually, but often ingredients that these affluent travelers connect with, right? They have a special appetite for it. So it goes beyond the traditional museums and the concerts and creating something that goes beyond the obvious. As Jesse said, anything that you can't find online. Give me things that are beyond anything that people can compare with or have ever heard of. And as Diane mentioned, it's not only going where your friends went, but upping it. Like, I want to do that, but I want to do it better or different or have even more incredible stories. How does that look to you? How do you make that a reality?
This is the kind of things that makes me really excited because, again, just Alan, you made a great point. The authenticity and having the right people and the guides, the personalities are what really make it. I just went to Arnhem Land in Northern Territory and I went to go see one of the most prolific sites of rock art in Australia that's known. It's 700 square hectares of private land, so you can only get into a private little muddy runway in the middle of the rainforest. It's incredibly immersive, and on arrival you feel a deep sense of place just right from as soon as you get off the plane into the four-wheel drive that's going to take you with your guide, and you're meeting everyone straight away. The area is full of hundreds of different rock art sites, and they are up to 10,000 years old. Now, the journey in itself to these rock art sites is also art in itself. So you're flooded rainforests, giant crocodiles and immense bird life. You're on this little electric skip, just making no noise, and you're just in this environment which is just taking you away. Again, coming back to disconnection, this is what we're seeing from our clients that they want. When you arrive to this art site, because there's 100 sites, everywhere is different and they all have their own story, but it's always unique. And one that I went to was called Chinese Boats. And this site was well over 10,000 years old. And on the wall, we were looking at Chinese boats. And they contradict Australia's written history, which is that we were colonised by the British. And that's what we learn in school. But these walls show a land bridge between Australia and Indonesia. The Chinese were visiting in 1500 AD. And it's these stories, when you sit there and, you just take in the silence, and everything around you, and you just realize, wow, okay, this is real art. There's no handrails, there's no lights or cameras. You can walk right up to it and look at it.
Amazing.
That's the experience that gets us really excited, and the clients, they absolutely love it.
And I love the fact you told me this story earlier, and you were also sharing that rock art wasn't something that you were passionate about. So it's not like you were like, I'm into rock art. A lot of people are like, what is rock art, right? But living something like that brings a new interest and a new passion and curiosity, and kind of opens new doors, right?
For me, my girlfriend will tell you I don't like art galleries. I like motorbikes. So for me, it was so interesting to learn and have that education from such a knowledgeable guide who taught me how they date it, which is through technique. And then when you realize that this is 10,000 years old, and the detail that has gone into some of these works, and then how they craft their musical instruments and how they work that all in as one culture, as well in New Zealand, it's equally as powerful. So that's what gets us really excited.
Yeah, it's what makes travel so special, right? I love the quote that travel is a university without walls. And when you tell a story like that, it's exactly what it is. It's the perfect definition. And I think when we talk about connectivity, I'd love to hear from you, Dan, because we're moving more and more into a digital space, right? It's easier, or is it harder to do business? In other words, do you find that the access to the Zoom and the remote working environment is beneficial to efficiency, or is there something missing? Because where we find, and we look at what we're doing here in the last few weeks, we're visiting you guys, trying to connect with the top advisors, placing our suppliers with the buyers, and that's a lot of what we do. It's already been coming, but obviously the pandemic kind of catapulted the whole digital space. It's in a way becoming more efficient. It's easier to connect, and yet it's harder to connect real physical connectivity of sitting with you, which is the biggest pleasure of it all. So is it making life easier? Are we getting more connected or less?
I personally am more connected. I feel like I really seek out opportunities to connect with people, have FaceTime with people.
Yeah.
And I think that for me is what helps my business, what helps my relationship with my clients. So for me, I think I am more connected than ever, because after the pandemic, I have really, I was always saying yes to everything anyway and seeing people, but I now even more so. But I am tailoring some of the things that I say yes to smaller groups where I really feel like I can really talk to people and have an intimate connection. I'm not going to a lot of these big events that people are still having. But I don't think, look, there's a balance. It helps when I have a supplier on the other side of the world and they have questions and I can do a Zoom with my client and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, we love that.
So,
Please.
That's an incredible thing that we can do. And I think we all got more comfortable with that during the pandemic with Zooming. And so I think that has been really helpful. But I don't think anything replaces the being together.
Personal.
Yeah.
No, and if you think about somebody that curates and really is very selective of who they meet, I think, Jesse, you fit kind of in that profile. It's an honor to have you here, because I know that he doesn't come out often. So how do you see it? People have become a lot more selective. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think to Diane's point, and when I think about one of the major shifts in our clients and advisors getting very comfortable with online and Zooms and things like that, is also just being careful, though, that, again, we don't turn this into a commodity. And I think what I'm seeing, and certainly from the advisor side, when I hear of advisors that say, we got a new request and I just went online, I found all of the DMCs that represent an area that maybe are part of a specific consortium, sent the request to 9 different companies, right? So to me, that's unheard of, right?
Yes.
And I remember almost having a heart attack, and maybe similarly, sometimes with new clients and referrals, when it's just like, oh yeah, I'm reaching out, but just so you know, I've also reached out to 3 or 4, and I'm like, listen, this is not how this works. So I think it's also kind of just this training of, and important, I think, for suppliers also to kind of just set the ground rules. And I think one of the reasons why I love TL Portfolio and your team is when they know that, when I'm sending a request, it's hey, listen, Tina, I know that you have the expert in the region. I really need help here. And 9 times out of 10, within 30 minutes, I have a response already from the partner that you've already called that said, like, listen, we need you to jump on this. And I think, I remember Alan sending me yachts in the middle of the night. I'm like, I didn't even expect it to be that fast. But I think the point is finding partners that we have this mutual trust, and that I'm out there in the marketplace saying that these are the partners that I use, telling other advisors, telling my clients, and in exchange for that, there's just a level of loyalty and trust that's created. And so I think from my side, where my frustration lies maybe is when you hear from DMCs that say, well, we're just so busy, we have way too many requests, we can't handle that. My point is always, you can't be everything to everyone. And I would say that's true of me, Diane, as well. We have to be selective about our clients. And I really hope that our DMC partners understand that, okay, maybe I'm dedicating my time to a query that's coming from Diane because I know that she's serious and I know that there's a long-term potential. And maybe that means, saying no to 7 additional requests for somebody who's just looking for a one-off transfer that doesn't really understand what you provide. So I think we all as an industry need to be more selective, and because otherwise I don't think any of us could handle this surge of demand that fortunately we have. But there needs to be a balance, because I think sometimes you look at a room of travel professionals and everyone's glued to their phones or frazzled, and there just needs to be balance. Yeah.
100% agree with you. 100%.
Yeah, this is like, they're like, go, Jesse.
You couldn't have said it better. You could have said it better, mate.
Yeah,
Record
but
that.
I think the key that you talked about is loyalty, right? It's trust and loyalty, and that is a commodity that is priceless. I mean, we look at, and you mentioned Europe, it is insane, the amount of demand. And, one of our partners, Queen of Clubs, they do exactly that. They said, you know what, it is very busy, and for the next, months, we will only focus on our loyal partners. This is not a time, we don't have the time, and so we will value those relationships and make sure that whatever time we have are dedicated to, you guys, exactly the ones that are supporting them and rely on them. And I know that the two of you have exactly that attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. We grew immensely in the last year, and luckily I have a fabulous team of 12 hard-working women and 1 guy. And
it's a trend.
Yes, it's a trend.
I only have 10 women. I need a guy.
And it was, we got wonderful reviews from our clients, partners saying, you are the only one of our partners in Europe that was actually delivering everything within 24 hours. But we're working 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because we needed to, and now I'm giving them free days, all the benefits they can have, and I'm trying to build up bigger teams so they can handle the volume without so much stress. But it is difficult, But again, for loyal partners and to people whose business we are interested in, we are definitely interested in pushing for being at that level all the time.
Yes. And I always tell my team, for 2 years when I started, I was like, I'm not going to say no to anything. I'm just going to go to everything. And that's that probably lasted about 3 or 4 years. Now I'm being more selective. But I do tell the team, I'm like, this is the business. You meet these people, you develop relationships with them. It's a big circle, of trust and of loyalty. You trust them with your clients, then your clients trust you. So relationships in this business really are the most important thing. And I really feel that, to maintain those relationships, you need to see people. So back to the point of the digital age and all of that, I think seeing people in person really is the most important thing.
It is. It's being selective with your time. And I'll just share, Alan is unique. And remember, we had a conversation, I think it was at Pure or ILTM. And Alan says, Tina, we have a problem. We've grown 60%. I don't want to grow anymore. And I thought, oh my God, how do I do that, right? I'm your rep. Like, I'm thinking this is a good thing. And he says, I don't want more. The whole point of less is more. It's very hard for an owner of a company to say, I just don't want to grow indefinitely. I just want to keep getting better and better and better. And that's, I think, the future of luxury travel as it pertains to events, as it pertains to gathering, as it pertains clients. It's not necessarily more, it's better, right? It's keeping that size and nurturing those relationships, because you can't do it. You can't spread yourself too thin, right? And I think that's what you guys all do beautifully.
And we don't have enough people on the ground to support this. My winemaker is one of a kind. My chef who cooks in Trogir, she can do 100 tours experiences a year. That's it.
Right.
She'll go crazy. She is crazy already, but then that much work. And I take care of them. I tell them, choose one day a week that you don't work. If we need to work, if Jesse sends something, we'll do this. But please choose one day for you.
And I think to add to that as well, I think for me, one of the most important things is respect, and just realization that at the end of the day, we are all in the industry of hospitality. And I think the thing that drives me craziest is when you meet fellow travel agents, and you see their behavior, or sometimes hotels or supplier partners where there's just this disconnect. And to me, it's like, we could all be doing anything. So if we're in the business of creating memories and these one-of-a-kind experiences, we also have to treat each other with respect and professional. And I think for me, again, this is one of the things that's always resonated with the TL collection and Tina, Natalia, the entire team, is just how do we elevate the discussion to opportunities like this, of saying like, okay, beyond just the discussion of heads in beds, or tell me about, a yacht trip that you created for your clients, how do we actually elevate our entire industry, I think to me is important.
Jesse for president.
Yes. Right now.
Are we on? How about? Are we on?
Yeah, fantastic, mate.
Well, I could stay here chatting for days. It would be like a treat if we could do that. But I just wanted to thank everyone. I know time is limited. I know you're super busy, and I appreciate, both of you coming from the other side of the world, literally. For you, Diane and Jesse, taking the time. That's the true partnership that I couldn't, be more grateful. It's been a pleasure. I thank you for sharing your insights, your expertise, your thoughts, your opinions. Thank you for joining for another TL Talk, your source of the latest insights in luxury travel. There will be more coming up, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Tina.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.